What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8, Papa Zulu November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. It is Hump Day. That means it's time for the Hump Day Happy Hour. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. Your one stop for everything Adventure Radio. We got a great show tonight. I'm really excited about it. We're going to be talking about an event that's happening this Friday called Pedal for Pota. And it's not what you're thinking, not the kind of pedal for Pota that the Adventure Guy would be doing. But although I would love to try it sometime, it sounds like a lot of fun. But before we bring our guest out, let's give a big shout out to all the Patreons. I appreciate you guys. You guys keep everything going for us all the time. You guys absolutely rock. Been doing some really cool stuff in the after chats and the monthly calls and stuff like that. And speaking of the after chat, the links are up in the Patreon page and the Patreon Discord. So make sure and check that out if you want to come into the after chat tonight. Also, give the Adventure Club update. This is where we're sitting right now. There was some donations off stream this week. India Charlie Papa, Bruce, he's in the chat tonight. He donated 5 slices, so thank you very much. And everybody else is pretty much sitting around the same order as last week. All righty, let's go ahead and bring everybody out. Hayden? What is going on, Hayden? What's going on, Kevin?
Howdy.
Doing good. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Other than the bands were kind of crappy today, but other than that, I'm doing wonderful. How you been? How's the boat coming, Hayden?
Oh, it's coming. It's a labor of love. We'll just say that. Every day I find more stuff that's going to need to be fixed eventually, but I'm going to get the motors running, going to throw an antenna on it and see what we can do.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. All righty, Kevin, before we start talking about the event that's going on Friday, tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into ham radio.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Name is Kevin, and I've been a ham operator for 3 years, a general, and I only know voice. I don't know any CW, so just kind of a voice kind of guy. And like I said, 3 years, 2 years of that I spent pretty much running 100 watts QROs, pumping as much power as I could. And it wasn't until the last year or so that I really got interested in the QRP aspect of it all. So I've been doing that kind of pretty much solely for the last year, is running QRP operations.
I'll tell you, man, once people really get into QRP, man, they're hooked. Like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like an addiction.
I know one guy. He tells me, if he ain't running QRP, he feels dirty, to be running something else. I'm
right.
Like, okay. I mean, I like QRP. It would be a little rough for me. I have a stalker, and he likes to come and try to keep me from getting out to everybody. He likes to do things like that, but it doesn't work very well for him. I'll tell him that. not right. me running QRO. So I was scrolling through Facebook the other day, and I seen a post that you made, and it was something that you're going to do Friday. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, I enjoy challenges, and I recently this kind of started. This bike with the generator started actually about 10 years ago. I built this thing. And it's been sitting kind of in the back of the shed collecting dust. And I drug it out a few weeks ago and wondered to myself if can this thing generate enough power that I can run a ham radio off of? The radios nowadays are pretty efficient. It only takes an amp or two to run. So I thought, I wonder if I can run it. So I drug it out and I pulled it out to the cornfield out here. And sure enough, I plugged it in and I started pedaling 12 and a half, 13 volts and hit the power button and it powered up. And I thought, okay, well, that's pretty cool. Now the real test is, can I transmit and still pedal enough power to transmit? And it did. I could feel the pressure on the pedals as I pumped a little harder. And I thought, well, this is kind of cool. So I started making some contacts sitting out there, just pedaling. And I thought, well, what's the next step? I guess, what's the next challenge in all this? I can make some calls. So I thought, well, I wonder if I can make 10 calls in a row and pedal nonstop and do it. So that's where the challenge came up to myself, is I'm going to try and take it to a park and try that and see if I can pedal 10 calls out and activate a park with it. So
Nice.
That's absolutely cool. I mean, I mean, I'm just amazed by the ingenuity of it. You know, I love my Biolino batteries, but I would love to try something like this. I actually watched your video, and I'm going to post that. Well, actually, I'm gonna show a little clip of the video, kind of show your setup here in a couple of minutes. But it's just really cool stuff. So that's just amazing. And you've been working on this thing for 10 years. What were you going to do with it back then?
well, I actually built it for a YouTube video. We were, believe it or not, they were forecasting an ice storm and a winter storm coming in, and they were saying everybody's going to lose power. Basically, it was going to be so bad with the wind. So it was a Saturday, I believe it was, and I grabbed that. I found that I had that old bike and I had that motor, and I says, this is a good time to put this together because I'm not going to be without electricity when everybody else in the neighborhood is. So I put it together that day, and I put a cigarette lighter on it, attached it, and then I put a little inverter on into the cigarette lighter and plugged in some Christmas lights to it, and they worked. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm generating enough power to make these LED Christmas lights work. And I says, well, I've created a video for Facebook and said, we're still having Christmas here, even though everybody else is going to be dark because the power's out because of this ice storm. And then after that, I kind of put it away in the corner of the shed, and that was it till just last week or so. And that's how I got it back out again.
Well, good deal. Good deal. Yeah, it's definitely quite interesting, and I watched a video, and I kind of liked it. I liked the beginning of your video. You said we're gonna power the radio with Cheetos and water, and I was like, what is he talking about, Cheetos and water? But the Cheetos and water was for you while you're riding the bike.
Right.
So really good stuff. All right, I'm gonna try to make this work, and I've never actually shared another YouTube video on here before, but we're gonna try to see if I can do this. And I've got it to the part where it's just your setup.
Sure.
So we'll watch that if I can make it happen. We're gonna try it anyway. If not, all I can do is mess something up, right?
Yeah.
won't be the first time.
We're still here.
All right. All right. Let's see if I can make this work. All right.
There you go.
Is it up there right now?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
All right. Let's see if the audio works.
Now you've got it muted.
Okay.
Connected with the coax over to the internet. We also have the ground going down to a spike in the ground, and we've got the power coming over here to my power plant. And this power plant is powered by Cheetos and water. That's the fuel. So let's take a look at this. We have a DC motor, which come out of a old treadmill, and the treadmill broke. And so before I trashed it, I pulled out the DC motor because I knew that it could also be used as a generator. So I pulled that out, and we just kind of connected it up here to the exercise bike, and it's resting on top of this wheel. So when I pedal, it spins this. The old flywheel keeps its momentum. That is connected up here and goes into my watt meter. So I know what my voltage is. I can monitor my voltage and amperage use. And I've also got this. This is the actual output of the generator as well. As a backup, I've kind of got two sources here. I can look at the DC volts on my multimeter and also the DC volts here, because both of them are measuring the same spot. And then I've got a from there output of the watt meter. I got it going to this kind of a DC bus bar, and my power pole connection going over to the radio. All right, we'll see if we can get my fat butt up here. Oh. Okay. Get started here. As we pedal, you can see the volts. It doesn't take much pedaling. A little bit. Get you around 12, 13 volts. And my watt meter showing about the same. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's kind of hard to read that. That's why this is a lot easier to read for my voltage. Okay, so let's power up. See what we got here. I'm going to use this hand to do it with. Hang on. Okay.
That is correct. Name is Rick. I'm in Western Washington and just testing out my new amplifier here
It's
on
working.
20 meters.
So I felt when that powered up, I felt a little bit of pressure on my pedaling. So it pulled down just a little bit because it's using some amps. Now I'm working. It's running maybe about a half an amp down in there.
It's Rick. I don't know about it.
Okay. So let's try and make some calls. Get into the YL system.
Roger. Kilo Lima Bravo. Kevin, is that Roger?
Roger. Kevin in Iowa. Over.
Okay, we got you on the Roger, and do you have any calls you'd like to make, sir?
And no calls. Thank you for picking me up, though, and for the relay.
All right. Yeah, we do appreciate the relay. That was Kilo Zero, Kilo Radio, so that's all good.
Ham radio, powered by Cheetos. Woo!
Kilo Lima Bravo. I heard you call in earlier today, and I got you on the log again. How you doing, Kevin? How you doing?
Good, Bill. Thanks for getting me on the log. No calls, over.
Roger, well, I heard you earlier today. Somebody else picked you up, but I'm glad to hear you on there today. Are you doing okay?
Roger. Out portable today, over.
All right. We're not going to show the whole video. I will drop that here in the chat here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but that's just amazing to me. I mean, that's like a really cool setup.
And what's amazing, I think, is also that these radios are so efficient nowadays that you can actually power them and use them with such low power or low voltage and amps.
Right. Absolutely. So you said that you could feel it when you're transmitting and stuff. You could feel it. How much harder does it get to pedal when you do something?
I mean, not very hard at all. It's pretty easy. When it's idle, just powered up, no key in the mic, it runs about a half to 0.6 of an amp. That's pretty much its idle draw. And then when I'm speaking, when I key the mic, it draws another amp and a half. So total of 2 amps draw, about 24 watts total is what it pulls when I'm talking on the radio. I did modify the it a little bit. I was a little worried about pedaling too fast and all the excitement and over voltage, creating an over voltage into my radio. So earlier in this week, I added a Zener diode parallel into the circuit. It's a 13 volt, 50 watt Zener diode. So now when I get up to 13 volts, it'll hold it there and bleed off any current that I pedal above that, so I don't overdrive my radio and burn it up.
No, that's definitely smart, because I know that's exactly what would happen to me. I'd get 2 or 3 people calling at once, and I just start going.
Right. It's easy to do, and it's a lot of fun sitting there trying to do that. But the nice thing about that Zener diode, I tested it last night, and the nice thing about that Zener diode is when I'm cranking about pedaling 13.5 volts, it's actually bleeding off an amp and a half, which is what I need when I key the mic. So as I'm sitting there just pedaling normal, it's bleeding off an amp and a half. And then when I key the mic, that 1.5 amps is ready to draw right away. And I don't feel any difference in the resistance in my legs at all. I don't have to pedal faster to keep the voltage up or anything like that. It's just a continuous feel to me. So that really helped a lot in that situation. Because before, when I keyed the mic, I could feel it draw and I'd have to pedal a little faster to keep the voltage level up.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can guarantee you that coming on the stream tonight has made Friday easier for you, because now everybody's going to be watching for you, and getting your contacts is going to be easy. How many contacts are you going to try to go for?
Well, I need at least 10 to activate the park. That's my goal.
Right.
And then if I got enough pedal power left, I'll go as long as I can, and as long as somebody's there that can hear me and wants to call me. But I'm just hoping at least 10 people can hear me and are out there looking for me. So
Right. And I mean, you will have what bands are you thinking you're going to do?
I'm only going to be on 20 because once I start pedaling, I can't stop.
Right.
And I'm using my antenna is going to be a MFJ 1979 whip antenna. So it's going to be the quarter wave antenna. I'm going to have it mag mounted on my truck, which I've used that antenna in that configuration before for Pota activations. So it's something I'm familiar with, and I know how it works, and it has worked pretty well for me in past activations.
Okay. Really quick here, we got a question. James asked, "Are you going to power a charge controller and battery backup?"
No, there won't be any battery. Power is going to be strictly from the generator to the radio, nothing in between. And I'm going to be generating the power for the generator by pedaling the bike.
Right. And really quick,
Yep.
Shout out to James Jenner for the 5 slices of pizza earlier. I did see it. I just haven't had a chance to break in here. And shout out to David for 3 slices of pizza. I've seen yours as well, David. So I appreciate that. So yeah, what time are we thinking you're going to go for this? Do you know?
Well, by the time I get out there and get set up, it'll probably be about 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time. So I'm hoping between 9 and 10, closer probably to 10, that I'll be pedaling and up on the air.
So around 11 o'clock my time. Okay.
Yep,
Good deal. Because you said that you see me on the spots a lot and don't never get to get me.
Right.
Well, I'm going to be trying to get you this time. So I definitely want one in the log.
I hope so. You bet. I know. Like I said, I hope, I don't know what the bands are like kind of during that time of day. Because actually, it's been a while since I've activated Pota, and that was the last time I did. It wasn't a very good band day, but I don't know what things are like around 10, 11 o'clock at night or in the mornings, but hopefully they'll be good on Friday. I'm hoping. We'll see what we get, I guess, like we always do.
Yeah, no, there's days they're good, and there's days that they're bad. You can't change that, but
nope.
I'm sure you'll get to contacts, especially getting the word out tonight. There's going to be. I'm assuming you are going to spot on the Pota page, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, I'll spot. Yep, definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's why I put the post on the Pota Facebook page, was just to let people know I'd be there so they could be looking for me so I could get my 10 as quick as possible. I didn't want to have to sit there for 30 minutes waiting for 10 calls. So
right. I mean, I understand, because sometimes with QRP, depending on the conditions, it can be a lot harder.
Right.
Me at QRO, 10 calls is nothing, even bad band conditions, because I've just got this crazy cult that follows me for some reason or another. They all drink the Kool-Aid, and please copy. Hold on, let me see if I can remember what I called Kyle the other day, and I cracked him up. Let's see, it was
artichoke.
No, it was something really, really something. I know it was maybe Astronaut Ape Zero Zanzibar or something. It was something really, really out there. And I got done calling, and all I come back and would just heard was him just cracking up laughing. There you go. Brian actually put Kevin's channel in the link. Appreciate that, Brian. And you can go there and check that whole video out that we were watching the little clip from. So make sure and check that out. It's very interesting. You know, I seen his post and I was immediately interested. And I was at work, and don't ask me why I was looking at Facebook at work. It's none of your business. But I was at work and I seen it, so you know, I was like, I got to send this guy a message and get him on the show because that's just really cool.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. So, are you a big Pota enthusiast anyway, or?
Yeah, I do Pota as often as I can. I really enjoy getting out there, and I especially like it QRP, just because of the challenge and I get out there and I don't want to work too hard. I don't really want to create a big pile up when I'm in a normal activation. So I usually run 1 watt and the calls trickle in and I enjoy the day and just kind of slowly take the calls and don't have to work too hard at it. That's what I really enjoy about it. Get outside there and do that. And Friday, I'll be operating 5 watts, which is a little more power than I'm used to running on Pota. But hopefully that'll get me a few more QSOs a little quicker.
I mean, I'm gonna try. I have bad luck here in West Virginia on 20. I get out, but the problem is I got to get out past the mountains before I go out. So my signal keeps going up, 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 up. Right. Then boom, and by the time it does that, it's skipping a whole lot of people. I mean, hold on, I'll finish this a second. How often do you do HF Bike Mobile? This is probably the first time other than your test, right?
Right. Yep. Other than a couple weeks ago, and then last night I did the dry run with the new Zener diode, and then Friday will be it. So yeah, this will be the first time Pota I've ever done it. Yep.
I mean, it's awesome. But anyway, I get out really good for DX, and
sure.
And a lot of people, you know, I activate every day, and a lot of people are like, man, get on 20, get on 20, get on 20. So I've been daily getting on 20 here lately. And, you know, I do get maybe 3 or 4 U.S. stations. But the whole activation, I'm just getting Spain, France, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. And I mean, I killed DX, but it's like I was telling Hayden, time-wise, there's not enough DX Pota hunters hunting for it to be efficient for me. I do it just, you know, so I can say, yeah, I did 20 for you guys, come get me. But,
right,
you know, I can, well, I mean, I have this game that I play that I get on 7 minutes before late shift starts and see how many calls I can, you know, get in 7 minutes. And it's around 50 some. So,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. You said you haven't, you can't never reach me.
Well, I never hear you. Rarely.
If you do hear me, you're gonna be in the line because
right.
There's typically a really good power up going.
Yep. Yeah, I probably won't get through to you because I'm usually running 5 watts here at home too. So you need to stop and ask for QRP station once in a while, and then maybe I'll bust through.
You know, I try to do that sometimes. You know, but I've got a couple QRP hunters that hunt me regularly. And the thing is, if you hunt me regularly, I don't care what you're running. Once I've got the tone of your voice down, I've got you. Like there is a guy that hunts me out of Pennsylvania, and you know I'll be having people running 400 watts piling in, and I'll hear him. All he'll say is QRP. That's all he'll say is QRP, and I'll be like, Kilo 2, Yankee, India, Yankee, and I'll give him a signal report. He never asked how I know who it is. He's never asked me once, but he'll do that, and then I got another guy out of Michigan, which we all know as the PP man, because he likes to run QRPP, and he's hunted me on 1/10 of a watt from Michigan, and got through my pile up. That it's just a brutal pile up, and but he'll either say QRP to try to test me and see if I know his tone, or he'll say Kilo Echo 8. That's all he'll say. And so it's a game that some of them likes to play. But the problem with that is all these other hunters here, like I'll hear a pile up and I'll rattle off 5 calls out of it because I recognize tones. But all these other persons, I might say the Victor Alpha station, and they just start saying their signal report and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, okay, I need your call sign, and they're kind of like, why do you need my call sign for? Why don't you have my call sign down?
Right.
That's like right there in the chat right now, Kilo 9 Alpha Echo Echo. All I got to do is hear him say Echo Echo. He's gold. I got him. If I hear it, there's another one. I hear India Charlie Papa, and I know it's the insane clown posse of Bruce. I bet you've heard Bruce before, right? Kilo 9 India Charlie Papa.
Yeah, I don't know if I have or not. I don't recognize it now.
Okay.
And I don't hear the hunters. I guess I haven't paid a lot of attention whether I even hear any of the hunters. I'm always listening for your voice, but I can hear you once in a while real faint, but it's not worth trying to make a call because if I can't hear you, you're not going to hear me. So.
Yeah, this is true.
No.
But we'll make it happen. I plan on activating every state in America, so I'll be in a different position. You'll get me one day for sure.
Sure, you bet. That'd be great.
Hopefully you get me this Friday. That's the plan.
That'll be fun. I'll be listening for your voice. You got a distinct voice too, so I'll see if I can hear it.
Well, you'll know me. You'll know my call sign the same way everybody who picks my call sign out when I call them, because it's Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November. That Zulu. I've even had a guy say, "Do you know why I picked you out?" And I knew. I was like, "No, why?" He said, "The way you said Zulu."
Yep. It just sticks out there. Yep.
It's just a trick, and I tell everybody that the secret to breaking pileups, first off, build a relationship with the activator, and you got it made. But even if you don't know them, is you got to make yourself stand out.
Right.
You don't got to be that guy that's trying to interrupt or nothing like that. You got to make yourself stand out somehow, and that's just how you do it.
Yep.
I do get some real characters that like to make me laugh sometimes. I had a big pile one night. I mean, it was you just heard a roar, and all of a sudden you just heard somebody scream, "Quiet, no talking," and I just started laughing. That's all I could do. I was like, all right, let's go with quiet, no talking. And sure enough, and ever since then, that's what there's another guy. He used to do it a couple times. Now he just says his call sign normal, but I still say it like he said it back then.
Right.
And he's November 4 can't remember stuff. That's how I call him.
CRT. Yep. Or
CRS.
Yep. Cool. Yep.
Once I got something that'll stick in my head, that's the way I'll say it from now on. It's rare that I'll change it. But it's a really cool thing, and we'll get back to it. But do you do a lot of little projects like that, little trick projects, or?
Oh, I use a lot of different things for antennas, just for kind of play around with and for my own entertainment. And mostly that's what it is. It's fun and entertainment for me. We don't have a lot of things to do out here on the farm, so I kind of got to entertain myself, and I've kind of taken up activating using different things as antennas, like silos and farm implements and things like that. Nice. So that's been kind of I don't expect them to work, and then when they do work, it surprises me. I'm like, now how does that? I scratch my head and go, how does that work? And but they are. So it's kind of and I do it kind of also to as kind of an emergency situation. If I don't have an antenna, or I want to be in kind of incognito and don't want anybody to know I'm using an antenna and operating a radio, I can go hook up to the silo it's a natural thing out here in the country, and I can play ham radio and no one would know that that's what I'm doing out there. So it's kind of a, incognito type deal too. So yeah, they work. It's kind of interesting.
So we got a couple of things here. Arnold Grubbs said, Kevin, ever help out with RAG?
Ragbri.
Yeah, Ragbri.
Yep, that's the big bicycle ride across Iowa. No, I've never. They're actually coming through just north of us, about 30 miles this year. So I'm trying to avoid those areas of the state right now, where they got like 30 or 40,000 bike riders that are coming across Iowa right now.
Oh, cool deal,
going
cool deal.
from yep. So it's a big deal. And no, I've never helped out. I've been caught up in it a time or two, but that's a lot of bikes going down the road.
And Brian, Whiskey Mike 8 Golf, who's in my log several times, he said that you are the king of Willet antenna.
I've tried a few different things, that's kind of for sure, but that's always that was kind of a fun adventure, just to see what works and see what doesn't work. And I'm surprised what does work, really. It's kind of amazing.
Good deal. So what's the most interesting thing you've ever antennaed?
The most interesting, maybe a dumpster.
A dumpster.
Yeah, and actually, I had the dumpster on the ground, and then we got the loader tractor out with the forks on the front, got underneath the dumpster and raised it 10 feet, and my signals increased, and I got a lot better. So if you can get your dumpster 10 feet in the air on a mast, it'll work a lot better for you. Did find that out.
So when it was on the ground, would you say your signal was trash?
Right. Yep.
I always look for that interesting person who's antennaed something really cool. I think that's the first dumpster I've heard. The guys at my local club, the reason I got in ham radio is because my dad always wanted me to be a ham radio operator, and he passed. But they were telling me stories about him one day, and they were all at a get together one time, and he grabbed an old bicycle rim and he antennaed it up, and they started making contacts on it. So
yep.
I kind of like that interesting stuff. And when I first seen your whole setup and stuff like that, all I could think of was my dad, because even all the guys from the club would tell you, like, he would come into the club meetings and he'd just lay down this, they'd call it an interesting contraption, and they'd say it actually looked like a pile of trash. But then we'd say, well, what you got there, Johnny? And he'd say, oh, it does this, and he'd start showing them all this crazy stuff, they'd say, and it would be like this amazing thing, and they're like, how in the world do you come up with
right. Yeah. And I think that's part of my advantage is I'm not very book smart. I don't have an antenna book. I really don't know what's supposed to work and what's not supposed to work. And so I just throw whatever I throw against the wall, see if it sticks or not. It's kind of fun and experimenting with that.
Sprayer boom dipole, huh, Brian? Hey, you never know. I'm sure somebody's probably already done it. But
yeah, that was on my list this spring to get done. But my brother finished spraying before I got hooked up to it, and he's got it put away already. So the next spring, that's going to be one of my goals, is to do the sprayer booms.
Oh, so do you think how harder do you think you would have to pedal to run a QRO radio on it?
That's interesting because I run a Zygu G90 on my portable there, and the reason I use my G90, I've got an ICOM 705 as well, and I thought to myself, if I burn one of them up, which one do I want to burn up? And it's not the 705, so I got the G90 hooked up to it, which will go to 20 watts. Right. And I've only done 5 watts so far. So once I'm done with the Pota activation, I'm going to crank it up to 10 and 20 watts and see how much more power it actually needs, and if I can pedal it to at least get to 20 watts. I don't know if there's going to be a big difference or not. I'll find out after the fact. I didn't want to burn anything up right now before the Pota activation.
You're right there. I mean, I've got a G90 sitting right there too, and it's not technically my QRP radio. My QRP is an 818, but I do have that. And if I was going to do something, well, like I do plan on doing a kayak activation at some point, and it's going to be the radio just in case,
Right.
Not that I want anything to happen to it, but just in case, I'd rather it be the one dumped in the water than something else.
Right. Yep. That's kind of my theory too.
And well, I mean, I tell that to a lot of people, that like people will come up to me and like preppers and stuff like that, and they'll ask about like handheld radios and stuff like that, and I ask them what they're doing, and when they're telling me they just need it to go through the woods and talk to their buddies, they're running and gunning and doing this stuff. I'm like, get you a Bofang.
Right.
If you smash it, you lose $20.
Right.
If I smash my 3DR, I'm out $350. It's so you gotta just weigh the options.
Right.
Yeah, if I'm doing something really big ham radio related, yeah, I'll use my 3DR. But if I'm going rock climbing, where I could be dropping a radio off a cliff, I'm going to use a Bofang.
Yep.
It's so yeah. I was just curious how far you had tested it. And
that's as far, just the 5 watts, and the 5 watts when I key the mic is pulling around 24 to 20. I saw it last night jump up to 30 watts of draw of power that I'm having to generate is 30 watts of 24 to 30 is kind of where it's been hanging when I'm pedaling. So I'll find out when I'm done Friday, what 10 and 20 watts, how much difference there is in that when I key the mic.
Right. So you're going to start at 5 watts and just maybe do your 10 from there and then go up from there?
Nope. No, I'm going to stay at 5 the whole time during the Pota activation. When I get back home, and then get back out in the cornfield and play around some more, I'm going to experiment with a higher output wattage on the radio and see if it makes a difference. But I'm just going to stay 5 watts during the Pota activation, play it safe, and get through it and pedal as much as I can and see how many calls I can get.
So the level of pedaling that you do, how long would you say an average person could keep it up for?
It's really the pedaling's not hard. I mean, it's kind of surprising actually. Last night I went for a dry run. I pedaled for 10 minutes pretty easy, and I wasn't out of breath or anything like that. So, 30 minutes is probably pretty doable. I think the hardest part is the seat, sitting on that bicycle seat for that long a time. Things kind of start rubbing and getting a little raw. So you kind of got to, that's probably the biggest factor right there.
Bruce, he said around 10 o'clock Central Time, right? 10 Central?
Yep, that's correct.
So
1500 Zulu, I think it is. Yeah, it is 1500.
And he will be posting on the Pota page.
Yep.
So
yeah, I'll spot.
And I'm now off on Friday, so I will be sitting and waiting for the spot to be popping up. I'll be out there ready to at least try, but
put me in your ham alert.
It's I almost just want to go wait on top of Tick Ridge, which is a Pota park, and because at least there I'm on top and I get better 20 meter. Like I don't, I can actually get the states a lot more than I get the DX, because when I'm in the valleys, like I said, I got to clear the mountains. But when I'm on top of Tick Ridge, I get a lot better on the states. So I may have to do that.
Well, and like I said, I'm going to get out there, and if I get set up a little early, it might be 9:45 or something, but it'll be pretty close to 10 probably.
So I'll start watching about 9:20. I'll watch patiently. I will Toby the spotting page, and I know you don't know what that means, but Toby Alpha Delta 2 Charlie Delta. I typically, because I do have some brutal pileups, so people who tend to watch my show and participate and stuff. We have a Discord channel, and I will typically spot in my Discord. It may be 2 minutes before, or it
Right.
may if it's like on 20 meters, it's normally 40 seconds. But I give them the initial heads up to go ahead and get there. And I think what Toby does is she sees Ham Radio Adventure Guy as typing. So she automatically just waits and waits. She's got her hand on that dial because as soon as I put that frequency, I hit CQ, and by the end of that CQ, I hear Alpha Delta 2 Charlie Delta.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, I've heard you mention that before. She's always your first one in. Yep.
Yeah, she's quick at it. I will tell you, she's very quick. Which it also helps her too because when I switch bands at night, Toby does not have a good 80 meter signal, at least not to me. But with me posting there first, she's got that brief little bit of time that she can throw out her call, and I can hear her before everybody pours in there, and I can get her on 82. So it works out well. But
yeah.
I give up. They know, all the hunters know my pattern. So when I just put hopping, and in the evening, if I put hopping and I was on 40, they automatically go because there's only two frequencies that I go to on 60 meters. They go to the most current, the one I use the most, and they'll sit there and wait. And I say, "Is this frequency in use?" And then I just get a call sign. I've been waiting on you. It's clear.
There's
and before I ever spot on 60 meters, I have at least 8 or 9 calls before I ever even spot the Pota.
Yep. That's a lot of fun.
They'll pattern me, but people know my voice too. I can't tell you the times that I said, "Is this frequency in use?" And I hear, "What park you in, James?"
Well, it's going to take me a little bit because I've got to spin things up. I've got to find an open frequency, and then I got to type it in on my phone, the spot. I'm going to have everything, try to pre-spot myself, everything but the frequency. So once I find it, I can type it in quick. So it's gonna take me a little bit of pedaling just to find an open frequency and go. So and that's the thing with QRP also is I do a lot of QSYing because I get stepped on once in a while because people can't hear me. They're out there activating, and next thing I know, someone's right next to me, and they can't hear me, so it's not their fault. But hopefully, I'll have enough people calling me that won't happen. I can stay on the same frequency for a while.
That happened to me, and I can blast. Like I said, I have a stalker, and he comes and he plays music and he tries to, and he cusses me and this, that, and the other. But he threatens my life, blah 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 blah. But like, I just blast through him and keep going. I don't pay him no attention.
Right. Yep.
But there are people that's out there activating, and I'll get on the frequency and I'll call as this frequency in use. I've done it to Kilo Bravo 3 Charlie Mike Tango, my buddy Curtis. I did it to him twice. One time I didn't have no signal to look at the spotting page, and the next time was Support Your Parks weekend, and there was 100 and some spots. I wasn't looking through them. I just listened to it for an open spot.
Right.
And it happens. You don't, and I should be able to hear Curtis, but sometimes you can't. It's just the way the bands are.
Yep.
And I'll be in the middle of an activation sometimes, and then I'll hear a random conversation going on that I'm like, how did I not hear them before? Right. And how did they not hear 80 hunters yelling at me?
Right.
So
yeah,
propagation is weird. But so have you ever thought about maybe, to be a little more hands-free, maybe using a headset for your mic?
No, I guess I really hadn't. I don't have one, so I guess I never really thought about it.
Might make it. I mean, not of course you're not going to do it for Friday, but I mean, if you like it and want to continue it,
Yeah.
because I have I have a feeling it's going to be a hit with the hunters. You know, when they find out you're out there with no battery, pedaling on a bike to talk to them, they're going to like that for sure.
Well, I hope so. We'll see what happens. Yep.
Um, well, I can guarantee you that there's plenty of people in this chat that's going to be watching for you. I mean,
Great.
yeah, some of them will be at work, but some of them, right, push the talk button on the handlebars. There we go.
Instead of the bell, just push the talk button.
Yeah, I mean, because you know you gotta be holding your phone because you got a spot.
Yep.
You got to hold a microphone.
Yep.
And how are you logging with your phone?
I'm gonna paper log.
You're going,
So-
oh my goodness.
Yep, I'm gonna paper log. That's the way I do it. I paper log, and so yeah, that was the reason for the Zener diode too, was so that I don't have to pay such close attention to my voltage and speed. You know, I got a little more flexibility there as I'm trying to write down the call signs and key the mic and pedal all at the same. It's a multitasking event for me.
So we only see you from here up. Are you an octopus and you have 8 hands or something?
This is all I got.
All right, now we got a mic, a phone, and a paper log. Well,
Yep.
you got a little table out in front on your handlebars, right?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to actually sit right next to the end gate of my pickup truck, and then it'll be right on my right side, and it's about the good height where I can write down on my paper log right there. So, but no, I think it'll work. The biggest thing's going to be if it's windy and my paper's flying all over. So now I got to make sure I got a clipboard to keep things intact. So, you know, all those things that you don't think about till you get there and it starts happening. I'm like, oh man.
That's why I've been like, I actually am going to do pedal to Pota too, but just totally different. I actually am going to do a Pota activation while riding a mountain bike on a mountain trip.
Oh wow. Okay.
And
That
I've been
won't be
trying.
easy.
I've been trying to work out the details of all that. So
Yep.
mine would definitely be a headset.
Yes.
And I've got to figure out the schematic from it, but I've got to run a recorder in between the two to where it's recording the conversations,
Right.
and that way, and then I'm going to have a GoPro facing me. So the initial one, I'm going to give the time, and then I was going to give the time to each call, but I figured I can do that video wise, just on I can time it from the video. You know, for the first one was at 15:04. Then the next one, I'm 2 minutes into video. He's at 15:06. You know, so.
Yep.
But
I've thought about that too, is using my video as the log. You know, just kind of say the time. You know, look at my clock on the phone and say the time into the video so that I know. I thought about that too. So, but I thought I'll just try paper logging it and see what happens.
All right, just put the UTC clock in the camera.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that would possibly work.
Yep, that works too. Yep. Except my my G90 doesn't have a UTC clock. The ICOMs do, but the G90 doesn't.
I think he's talking about it on the camera screen, whatever camera you're using. I think.
Yeah, just one of those little ham radio clocks that everybody has.
Oh, sure. Yep. Okay, I gotcha. Yep. Little external clock.
Actually, something like that.
Sure.
There you
Yep.
go.
Yep. Yeah, perfect. That would work good.
And I think that's how Carlos does it too. When he does his jumps, all of his logs are video logs.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, there's ways to do it, you know. And I love how people are they're getting out here and they're finding these interesting new ways to Pota. Like we don't have enough challenges as it is, you know. But these new ideals and stuff like that, it's extremely awesome.
Yeah, the skydiving's pretty extreme for me. I don't
Yeah.
think I'll do that one.
Well, here's the problem. Every time I have somebody on and they do something, then I want to do it. So now I know, like, which I've already talked to Carlos, and me and him supposed to do a tandem jump sometime. And now I know when I come to Iowa to activate, I'm gonna be like, hey, what are you doing, man?
Right.
You want to do some pedal to Pota?
Maybe by then I'll have a tandem bike and we'll both be sitting there pedaling.
I'll be like, hey, I need somebody to donate a or QRO radio that you don't care if I burn up, because I'm going to run QRO on this thing. I'll pedal my guts out. I don't care.
Yep, right.
I like QRP. It's fun, but it can definitely have its aggravation to it. I typically, what I do, because I like to do a lot of hiking activations, I will go do a hike and do my activation. And if I feel like I left hunters out there, when I get back down to the truck, I throw up the Eagle One, I fire up the Yazoo, and guess what? I finish that activation from the truck because I'm still in the park. And that's the good thing.
Yep.
As long as I covered 4 for the summits that I go to, I'm okay.
I want to see Pat do that.
Paddleboard activation. I'm not big on paddleboards. I'll do the kayak, but I'm not big on a paddleboard.
You almost need a man pack for a paddleboard.
Yeah, and balance. That's a lot to think about.
All righty, so we're going to start wrapping up here a little bit. We got about 8 minutes left, but so it's going to be this Friday in Iowa. So anybody who's close enough to get Iowa, well, he's going to be on 20 meters. So anybody who's far enough away from Iowa,
right,
to get 20 meters, and he's going to be anywhere between 9:30ish Central and 10:30ish Central. Watch for him on the Pota page. His channel link is in the chat here. Brian, if you want to, you can post that again. And you can go check out the whole setup and the whole video where he was checking it out. And everybody go out and hunt him, man. I want him to like call CQ and be blown away. I want him to get an H-rag pile up right off the bat. Like he'd be like, I'm going to kill this guy. Like I didn't want this big pile. But go get in his log. I know I'm going to try to. There's the link to the YouTube channel again. Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for the coffee. So we know what you got coming up Friday. Hayden, what you got coming up?
I will be back at the boat.
He will be back
working on the boat
because he's on a mission. And
the sooner I get this boat running, the sooner I can take it out and hunt people with it.
He's gonna hunt people, and then when he gets it squared away where he's hunting, I'm going back. Okay, I'm coming.
And then we're going to invite you down and have you out to two of the parks that I know of.
That's right.
On the Chesapeake Bay.
We're going to be on the Chesapeake Bay doing some Pota. I love that interesting. I like when I'm. Just the other day when I was doing a Pota, I got a aeronautical mobile, and stuff like that is just so cool to me.
Yeah.
So anything different like that, I like. But all right, Patreons, we will be heading over to the after chat. You know where the links are. Sandy, I know you're in the chat and you've had issues. If you cannot find the Patreon link on the Patreon page, all you got to do is click on it if you can find it. If not, message me or Hayden on Discord, and we will gladly get you in there tonight. Other than that, thanks everybody for the pizzas. Thanks for all your support and watching tonight. And we will catch what I got coming up, a weekend full of Pota. I'll probably do a live stream Friday for a special activation, but it'll be after his, so I can't give you a time yet until then. And then I'll probably fuss on live like stupid 20 meters. All right, guys.
So,
Thanks
real
for
quick,
watching. Yeah, go ahead.
Pat, come to the after chat and we'll talk about that there. 73, everybody.
73, guys.
7-3. Thank you.